The campaigns for the European elections are heating up, and here on The Brief from Brussels, we're taking a look at each of the major political groupings. This time, it's the turn of the Greens. The European Greens are hoping to create a surprise in the elections for the European Parliament. Currently, the group has 52 MEPs, which makes it the fifth largest force in the hemicycle. But the ecologists are hoping to surf the green wave we've observed throughout 2018. On one day alone, the Greens emerged as the biggest electoral winners in the regional votes in Bavaria, Belgium and Luxembourg. Their campaign centres around the political fight to protect the planet. Preventing global warming remains a top priority for the Greens leaders Ska Keller and Bas Eickhout.
We need to act much more faster. I mean, climate change is an urgent matter. It's like a crisis. And when we were having a banking crisis, the politicians were very quick in saving banks. Now we have to be as quick to save the planet.
The Greens are also benefiting from the strong mobilisation of youth in Europe demanding climate action. But to turn electoral promises into success at the polls, the movement intends to break out of its traditional sphere of fighting climate change. They also say they want to create a fairer economy for Europeans. For us, the European project is precisely to ensure that never again, anywhere on this continent, no woman, no man can be considered as nothing or think of themselves as nothing. Because to consider human beings as nothing is to allow them to suffer anything, and that we will never accept. In the last term of the legislature, the Greens enjoyed several successes, such as the creation of a commission of inquiry on the Dieselgate scandal, a regulation for the ban on single-use plastics, and the introduction of the General Regulation on Data Protection, GDPR. Additionally, the Greens were at the centre of a resolution triggering Article 7 of the Lisbon Treaty to safeguard the rule of law in Hungary.
Europe has promised democracy, rule of law and civil liberties to all its citizens. But those very big successes, they are under threat. And we need to fight for them again every single day. Because if Europe loses on democracy, then it will lose itself.
The Greens group in the European Parliament relies mainly on German, British and Spanish delegations. However, not all these elected representatives are actually Greens. The group is called the Greens and European Free Alliance and encompasses regionalist and separatist representatives from Scotland, Catalonia and the Basque Country. The party is not realistically going to win the elections, but the Greens hope to take on the role of coalition kingmaker and press for a greener European Union. Younger voters turning out for the first time could swing a little bit more power for the Greens in the European Parliament. Jack Parrick, Euronews, Brussels. The top socialist candidate for the European elections, Frans Timmermans, has called on all member states to adopt a minimum wage. He says it should be the equivalent of 60% of each country's median salary. Most EU countries do have a minimum wage, but the levels vary dramatically. The lead centre-right candidate for the European elections has rejected the idea of a CO2 tax. Manfred Weber says a tax on emissions would only harm the weakest in society. He insists there's no need to regulate how often people drive or fly, but wants industry to develop greener cars and planes.